Welcome to the Deepers Creepers podcast, where we like to get high and talk about horror movies. I'm Casey.
And I'm Jess. And I'm so freaking excited to talk about this week's movie. It is... Cocaine Bear! Cocaine Bear! Cocaine Bear! Woo! Oh my god. I don't know if you can tell, we fucking love this movie.
We loved it so fucking much.
Go see it in theaters. It is so fun.
It is the most amount of fun. Our whole theater had so much fun. They were cracking up. Everybody, reacted the way you wanted them to. And it is such a fun theater experience.
There was a guy who literally was like, yo, that's fucked up. It shouldn't be funny. But it is. And I was like, what that guy said. Because that shit was
yes.
So on brand.
Yes. So obviously this came out the weekend of the 24th. We saw it opening weekend on Saturday, and boy, it was just a great time. So we're gonna do a little spoiler free review at first, because obviously not everyone is gonna have seen it at this point. But I do highly suggest it. It's number 2 at the box office right now, which is huge for horror. I love that. And the only reason I think it's not number 1 is because... Ant-Man, yeah. Quantumania came out in the same weekend. You're not going to beat a Marvel movie. It didn't even come out that weekend, I don't think, but you're not going to beat a Marvel movie.
That's true.
But still, the fact that it got to number 2, that's incredible. Yeah, so we're going to give a little spoiler-free up top. Obviously, first things first, we fucking loved it.
It was so fucking good.
It was directed by Elizabeth Banks.
Amazing.
Has she directed anything else?
I'm pretty sure this is her first movie that she's directed.
Yeah, I think so. Director. Oh, no, she has directed some other... Oh, she directed the 2019 Charlie's Angels.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She directed one of the segments of movie 43. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
Oh, God. Okay. And then Pitch Perfect 2, she directed that as well.
Oh, okay. I like the second one.
Yeah. So she's great. I think she did a great job. I've heard a lot of bad things, but it's a bunch of internet people. Everyone that I've seen in person has liked it. It's
100%.
A lot of fun.
Everybody I know is so excited to see it, and I spent the entire shift at my job yesterday. I'm a bartender. So I literally, every time someone came in that I knew, and I was like, go see Cocaine Bear. I'm like, have you heard of Cocaine Bear? And I told every single one of them that Casey and I walked out of the theater going, Cocaine Bear, Cocaine Bear. We were
did.
Fucking hype.
Yep.
And I looked at Casey before the intro, fucking
title card
even came on. I looked at her and I said, I know I love this movie.
Yeah. Immediate. It was less than 90 seconds in, maybe, and she was like, I fucking love this movie. That's the thing. It just, from the beginning, it never stops. The pacing's incredible. I thought it was directed really well. I thought it was absolutely hysterical. The gore is incredible.
The acting was amazing.
The acting was really fucking good. Ray Liotta, guys. Ray Liotta's awesome. He's everything you want him to be in his final role. He's a badass. He's wearing the cool yellow sunglasses. He's a bad guy. I mean...
He's a piss poor dad.
That's everything you want from a Ray Liotta character.
Yeah.
Kerri Russell is our top billed star. I'm sure you've seen the poster for it. It's like the tree where the bear's on one side and Kerri Russell's on the other. I'm going to be honest. Okay, admission time. When I saw the poster, before I saw a trailer or read anything about it, I thought it was Michelle Pfeiffer. Because I think their profiles look very similar.
Yeah.
And so when I got to the movie, or when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh shit, I fucking love Kerri Russell. And she does a great job.
She really does.
She's awesome. She really is awesome. There's a lot of awesome people in here. O'Shea Jackson's in here.
Yeah, O'Shea Jackson. Yeah. I think we should take a moment to talk about that.
He did a great job.
Do you know who he is the son of?
Who?
Ice Cube.
My God, that makes
so much sense.
He's the son of Ice
Cube, and he played Ice Cube's son in Straight Outta Compton.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I
he's
love
incredible.
that. I did not know that. I love that.
And he was amazing in this movie.
And then we have Isaiah Whitlock. We did not get a shit, but we did get a couple shits. And I think I want to say it was like they wanted him to say shit, but they couldn't have him do the shit.
I loved his role.
He was great.
Also, can we talk about Margot Martindale?
Oh my God, as Ranger Liz, she is incredible. I've never seen her in this big of a role.
I don't think I have either, but everything I've ever seen her in, I have loved. And this might be my favorite role that I have seen her in.
She's was definitely a TV star.
Cynical, hilarious.
Horny.
She was so horned up for this guy. And I'm looking at the screen. He's got a terrible wig and a terrible mustache. And I'm looking at the screen trying to figure out who it is. Hold on. I gotta get back to... Anyway, I was trying to figure out who it was. I'm like, that guy looks so familiar. It's Jesse Tyler Ferguson from Modern Family. And he is hysterical in this fucking movie. He's
oblivious. He's like a fucking nature
oh my God, yeah,
like conservation person,
like tree hugger. Like he won't call animals.
I call them friends.
He's like, I don't like that word. And yeah, so that's who Ranger Liz is all horned up for. That's like most of the known cast that I like really know. But everyone did really good in their own like thing. I will say one of the ambulance guys was Scott Seiss.
He's the fucking IKEA guy.
Yes!
Like, he's the guy on TikTok and, like, you see on Facebook that's, like, the IKEA videos where it's, like, dun, 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 like, in the background.
He does the, like, a lot of office, like, videos. Like, he'll say something off the camera and it'll do the, like, that, like, mic drop and he'll look at it and go, oh, really? And, like, he's a TikTok star for sure.
And he was fucking hysterical.
I loved it. Like, good for you, dude.
Yeah, it really shows that, like, the internet can really be, like, the path to your fucking future if you're good at it.
100%.
So make us famous so we can be in movies like Cocaine Bear, please.
Oh my God, I would so be in Cocaine Bear. Even if I'm just, like, that initial kill, like, that lady that dies right off.
Oh, 100%. I would be in, like, the 9th one, even.
Oh
like,
God,
I would be, like, in one that nobody would watch.
I would be in Stab 8. 100%.
Me too. Just put us in a horror movie, please.
Please.
I will die for you.
And then we'll cover it. We'll tell you how awesome we are. Anyway, so I think that's really all we can say up top. I don't think we've really spoiled anything. There are a lot of characters. That's really the only complaint that I've seen that's kind of valid. It's not really valid. There is some kind of a storyline, which is better than just him running around. I like it. That's all I can say. We're going to get into the plot.
Yeah, I loved it. I think it might be, because there are so many, like, subplots within this movie, it might be a little hard for us to kind of pop around. So just, like, bear with us. We'll try to explain it the best we can.
Yeah, we might start talking about a character and kind of go through their storyline.
And kind of do our own timeline.
This is going to be very jumpy, though. It's going to be a little disjointed and not quite as linear as some of our other reviews are, because this is a movie where everything is happening
simultaneously.
Yes. Yeah. And so you're just, like, the editor is editing back and forth between all these different stories, and as far as relaying that, it's going to be a little weird.
It's a little different, yeah.
We'll figure it out, though. We'll get through it. So spoiler free is over. Please go see this. I mean, the fact that it made number 2 at the box office is awesome. Keep supporting horror movies. I mean, Megan was so big. We're getting a second one. Just keep doing it. We fucking we've been getting a lot of good stuff.
And I want that to keep happening. I want to keep seeing these movies in the theater.
I want movies like this where you shut off your brain, you laugh, and it's stupid, and it's meant to be stupid, and Elizabeth Banks knew it was stupid. She called it Cocaine Bear. And then we also want Nope. We want those incredible movies with so much depth.
And comedy.
And you get everything in between. But then we also get the really scary shit like Evil Dead Rise coming out. And that looks terrifying.
Oh my God. I don't even want to start.
Mommy's with the maggots now. Anyway, we're going to go through that. First thing I have in my notes is fucking Nicole Kidman. I go to a lot of movies, guys, and Nicole Kidman is always there.
God damn it. What is the last thing she was in besides this goddamn AMC commercial?
The Northman.
I don't know what that is.
It just came out last year. It was Robert Eggers' newest movie. He did The Witch and The Lighthouse.
Okay, yeah.
Before that, honestly, I have no clue. Probably nothing. But she was in that, and I definitely went to go see it opening weekend because I love Robert Eggers. It was good. I liked it.
I'm fine with that, but she can also, like, go back into hiding.
Yeah, she really can with her fucking glitter suit. Other than my Nicole Kidman quote, or note, I wrote, I love the music, because right off the bat, it is 80s synthwave.
Amazing. I feel like I'm in a retro video game.
It doesn't even sound like they're trying to update it, and it's like, oh, it's like an 80s version of a today's song. No, it's like...
straight out of the 80s.
Like, it literally, like, feels like they just got 80s stock music, and like, like, it is so fucking good, and the whole time, it's amazing.
And we get the intro of this scene where this guy's, like... is he flying the plane as well as, like...
Yes, I want to say he is the only person on the plane.
And he's got...
like a little small, self-piloted plane.
Yeah.
He has got tons
of cocaine. And he's throwing it out the plane, and he's trying to abandon ship with the cocaine, if you will.
Right.
But he fucking knocks his own goddamn self out on, like, the top of the plane as he's going to jump, and he dies. Before he can pull his parachute.
Yeah.
Well, he knocks himself unconscious, and then he splats.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is, like, the first thing we're seeing within, like...
and he's dancing around the plane. He is having a great time.
He's having a great time until he's not.
And yeah, until he's very suddenly not.
Cute.
I will say, up top, we should address the fact that this is, quote, based on true events. We know what they are. We know that this is not obviously a true movie. If you don't know the real story, there was a black bear. So there was a drug lord kind of, thing, on a plane who dropped a bunch of cocaine out of it and went splat in someone's driveway. But that's basically what happened. And a black bear in the forest found some of the cocaine, ingested it, and died immediately.
But I mean, it was like 14 or 15 kilos.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane.
Yeah.
Like, his heart exploded.
Yeah. But he just died. Like,
and that wouldn't have been as cool of a story.
Obviously. And obviously you're going to hear something like that and be like, that would make such a fucking funny movie.
And it did.
And Cocaine Bear was the working title, which 9 out of 10 times working title is not does not end up being the actual title. But they, quote, couldn't think of anything else. And I'm glad they kept it, because sometimes a title, I mean, think back to Snakes on a Plane. That movie got the recognition that it did because of the name. And the name only happened because Samuel Jackson said, I want to do this movie, but I'm not doing it if you change the title. I want it to be called Snakes on a Plane.
Or, Texas Chainsaw and Head Cheese.
Yeah, it was going to be called, like, Flight 267 or something like that. Nobody would have seen it. Nobody would have cared.
Snakes on a Plane? That shit sounds tight.
My boyfriend made a Snakes on a Plane reference yesterday, and he's never even seen that movie.
Yeah.
But everyone knows Snakes on a Plane. I have had it
with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
And I have had it with this goddamn bear on this goddamn cocaine.
I haven't had it. I would like more.
I could watch him forever.
I literally said that I wanted to go. Spoiler.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, we're in the spoiler free. It's fine. Or past the spoiler free. But I was telling people at work yesterday, I was like, if I was not at work today, I would be going to see this movie again. And I literally can't tell you how much time it's been since I've seen a movie I've had this much fun with.
It's
in a theater.
It is. It's a blast.
We were cracking up. We were gagging. We were covering our faces. I was jumping out of my fucking skin at certain points.
Oh my god, yeah. There were certain parts where
were some
I was
jump
laughing,
scares.
and there were some where I was
like that guy in the theater that's like, it's fucked up, I shouldn't be laughing, but man, that shit's funny.
Oh, there are some parts I laughed at where I was like, this should not be as funny as it is.
Oh my god, we were both cackling. I was like, I'm glad we were with some like-minded people in the theater, because I had a friend that went and saw it, and they said they laughed at some of the fucked up parts, and nobody else in the theater laughed, and they felt very uncomfy. And I was like, well, I'm glad we had the theater crew that we did, minus the baby.
There was a baby. Someone brought a baby, and not like a kid, like
a baby.
In a stroller baby, less than 2 years old.
To see Cocaine Bear.
And it only, like, made, like, 2 noises the whole movie, which is insane to me that kid sat for 90 minutes. And
it was a good baby, but it was just like, why?
Why'd you bring your baby?
Like, you don't bring your babies to movie theaters, and you don't bring your babies on airplanes. I feel like that should be. To a degree.
The airplane one... Movies are definitely a choice. You never have to go to the movies. Sometimes
Can't
you have to
stow
be
them under the... I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No.
You expect me to do that to my dog? Yeah. No, I'm absolutely kidding, but...
Yes. But anyway.
It was crazy. There was a baby there.
There was a baby. So, after our initial opening, our cold open, where the guy is throwing all the coke out, we are... suddenly with this very European, vaguely European couple, Olaf, and I don't know what the girl's name is. She doesn't matter. She dies right the fuck off.
I guess he was in like Game of Thrones and a bunch of other stuff.
That makes sense.
I've never seen Game of Thrones, but people were telling me that they were really excited that he was in this movie.
That's so cool. He does a great job.
He does.
He ends up coming back later.
Hysterical.
Yeah. So they are like a little nature couple. He's talking about how much he loves her, how beautiful she is.
How he can't wait to make kids.
They're
with
actually
her.
a really cute couple. So then they're hiking around. They get to the top of this like little cliff type thing that they were hiking up to. And they grab this camera. And this scene, I think, was shot really well and very suspenseful.
It was.
Because they're like looking around. They see this bear. They're like, oh my God, give me the camera. The guy gets the camera and he, of course, zooms in. So we're in the camera lens. That's our POV. So we get a zoom in of the bear and he's like scratching his back on a tree. It's really cute. But then he starts banging his head on a tree really hard. And the guy's like, that bear's demented. And
she's like, no, it's cute. Because then when she looks through the camera, it's like scratching its back on the tree.
Real cute. Just doing little cute bear stuff. Bears are precious, okay?
When they're not on coke.
If dangerous, then why friend-shaped?
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
They're ears. If dangerous, why ears like that? Anyway.
I got nothing.
So she's like
Very
looking
cute.
through. So then it goes back to, he's like, no, give me the camera. And he goes back to like, look. And the bear's not there. And then, so we cut back to him, and then we cut back to the camera, and then the bear's, like, way closer, and he looks insane.
Fucked up. I think I screamed. I think I was like, ah!
Yeah, some people were complaining about the CGI. I thought he looked great.
I thought he looked great. I was terrified of that bear.
Yeah, I wouldn't want a real bear on set. I don't like when they use real animals anyway.
When I saw that bear, I put myself in their shoes, and I was like, I would have shat my goddamn self and laid down like I was dead. I would not have tried to outrun it because I know you can't fucking outrun a bear, especially if it's fucked up.
In the movie, they say, and I think this is true, I think that I've heard this, black fight back,
brown lay down.
And it was...
And they're like, is it black or brown?
I'm like, it looks pretty black. I don't know, it looks brown. I don't know, but then...
It was so funny.
Yeah, later in the movie, one person, like, climbs up a tree and somebody's, like, almost out climbing them, and I'm like... Bears can climb faster than they can run. But then in the next tree, the bear's like, boom, boom, boom.
Because he smelled cocaine.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so...
We move on to a commercial, which I love. Like, after we get this intro scene of, like, her being mauled by this bear.
Right.
We get, like, those faux commercials. And it was, like, an anti-drug commercial. Which I thought was hysterical.
About that part.
I love commercials like that because it feels so authentic.
That is so... It's Reagan era.
It's very much like what we talked about in our last segment, the VHS movie. Because it was like the vegetable chopper.
The veggie masher.
The veggie masher. I love...
Megan had some commercial segments too.
And they were fucking so funny. I love it. I think it's a good trend to keep following. I'm all for it.
Agreed.
And I felt like the way this was used was very, like, reminiscent of the time period that we were supposed to be in.
Like I was saying, it's Reagan era. This is Reaganomics 100%.
Yeah.
This is Reagan era. Back to family values, traditional 2.5 kids, that kind of thing. That's what he was pushing on America, and so that was like the propaganda of the time, was the war on drugs, and he was, all this other stuff. And that's exactly the kind of fucking promos you would get. I mean, I remember the promos from the early 2000s of the girl, like, flattened on the couch or whatever, like that.
This is your brain on drugs. And it was like the fried eggs and shit. It was so funny.
I mean, that's what they did. And it didn't work. The war on drugs is fake. Drugs should be legal. So should prostitution. Sex work is real. It needs to be regulated and safe.
A motherfucking men.
On to the next part. So, do we see,
we get our park ranger first.
Is it the park ranger, or is it, oh god, what's the guy's name? And, O'Shea Jackson.
I didn't write that down till a little bit later.
Oh, okay, then yeah, he must
So I think it's the park ranger first, because she is at the, like, travels, or like the welcome center of this park.
Right.
And one of these punk ass kids come in, who we learn about later is in this like little art house gang, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to seduce her, and she's like, I got a man coming. And she's spraying her perfume, doing her lipstick, going off, sister. And this punk is just like flirting with her and stealing from the fucking shop the whole time.
Yep.
Really funny. Then we get introduced to the fucking nature guy.
What are their names? I can't remember. It's O'Shea Jackson and the other guy, the actor, I didn't recognize him. He is fucking hilarious. He's one of my favorite characters, honestly. So he's introduced to us because, like, his wife died and they haven't talked to him in weeks. And
Eddie,
yes, his name's Eddie.
And then David.
David is O'Shea Jackson's character. They're like, good buddies. They were drug people together, and they haven't seen him in a few weeks because his wife died. And he gets there, and the guy's like crying. And this is one of my favorite running jokes. He shows him this tattoo that he got with a heart, and his wife's name was Joan, and he's like, they fucking spelled it wrong. It says John. And the guy's like, you can get it covered up. And he's like, no, I gotta wait for it to heal. I got 7 more days of John. And it's so fucking funny.
It's like his wife died. Like, we should not be laughing like this. But he was just fucking hysterical.
Yes. Oh god. Yeah, that is just fucking funny.
But I need to tell you, when I was looking at this yesterday, I think it's hilarious that the 3 punks in this gang we'll learn about later are Kid, Stash, Vest, and Ponytail. They never got names, and I felt bad because when I was watching this, I was like, I don't remember any of their names. It's because they didn't fucking have names, which I think is funnier.
Yeah. Well, their
because
gang
they don't
was called the
Duchamps.
Oh god.
Which is, do you guys know? Do you know Duchamp?
No.
This is the art major in me. You guys.
She gets to teach me something.
Give me 2 seconds. I got you.
Yes. So I think maybe we should go through kind of David and why do I keep forgetting his name? I keep wanting to call him Ethan. David and Eddie's story, and then kind of move on to like the girl and the kids. Or should we should do the mom and the kids first.
Yeah,
we're kind of
let's do that.
Let's do that. What were you going to talk about, though?
Oh, Marcel Duchamp was an artist, and he was known for a lot of found art. So it was very much like his most popular work is called The Fountain, and it's a toilet. And he just wrote his artist name on it. And that was the whole thing. And it started this whole debate about what is art and what isn't art. So it was just a really interesting point, and I'm pretty sure it was Western Expressive. Okay, hold on.
Expressionism.
That's a word that I was trying to say. Yes. Yeah, so he was around, like, during World War I era, and he just did some really crazy stuff. Ready-mades is what he called them.
Okay.
And I just love it. And I thought it was a really funny, like, I was geeking out over the reference. Because I was art history minor, and so I was like, I get this. I get this! I was so excited when I wrote it down.
Oh, that's so funny. I did not get that, so thank you for our art history lesson
You're
today.
welcome.
Art history with Jess.
Don't ask me for any more because I didn't graduate. But let's move on to the mother.
Yeah, so I'd say we're going to kind of go through Kerri Russell and the kids' stories, kind of get near the end, go through someone else's story, and then when they all sort of come together, we'll talk about the finale.
Okay, sounds great.
I think that makes more sense than just jumping all around. So Kerri Russell's character is a nurse. She has a daughter who is, I would say, about 10 or 11?
Yeah.
10-ish. And the girl wants to go to the waterfalls to paint them, and the mom's like, no, we can't go today. We're going to go, I think she's got like a boyfriend or something.
They were going to take a trip to Nashville because
Yeah.
they're in, like, Chattahoochee Falls, Tennessee.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
This is 100%, this is a throwback to exploitation films, you guys. 100%. If anybody is a fan of 70s and 80s exploitation, you're going to like this movie because she is throwing it back to that in a very comedic way. And anyway, so the little girl gets her friend, and I don't want to call him little girl and little boy.
I know.
I fucking hate myself for not remembering anyone's names ever. But they decide, the girl is like, you know what, we're going to go ahead and go to the falls and paint him anyway. I don't care. She'll figure out where I am and she'll come find us.
Dee Dee and Henry.
Yes, Dee Dee and Henry. She is calling out Dee Dee's name a lot. Both of these kid actors are incredible.
Henry, I adored him. He was fucking hilarious.
And they're both so natural.
And so witty.
And
like,
so
I imagine
funny.
that's how, like, kids would interact with each other.
Yeah, and you know, like...
when their parents weren't around, you know?
Like, I've seen complaints about Elizabeth Banks' direction in this movie, but, like, the fact, like, I don't care who you are, what director you are, if you can get a good performance like that out of kids, you're a decent director. It is not easy to get those kinds of... I don't care what kid you are, it is not easy to get a performance like that out of a kid. It's just not.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, he reminded me a lot of, or I guess just the kids' tone in general reminded me a lot of... Did you see PG Psycho Goreman?
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the little girl and little boy from that. They're like...
Oh, totally.
And I think that's kind of based in the 80s, but they never, like...
They never, like, touch on
timeline.
it, yeah.
Love that movie, by the way. Very...
Absolutely.
Very funny. So eventually the mom gets home from work. She figures out that the kids are gone and goes looking for them. The kids go to the forest, to the woods. What do they find, Jess?
A bunch of coke.
Whole lot of cocaine.
A whole lot of coke.
They find a brick, and the little girl's immediately like, oh, this is cocaine.
She knew immediately. It was so fucking funny.
It was way too fucking funny. I said, how does she know this is cocaine? And he's like, oh yeah, you know how kids are.
Trying to impress each other. Trying
We
to
all
seem
lie.
cool.
We all lie. We were all the little kids. I was like, oh yeah, I've done that before. I was, I did this and blah. We all fucking did it. Don't lie to yourself. We all wanted to be cooler than we were.
Yep.
And so he's like, oh yeah, I do it all the time. Blah blah blah. That's just, it looks different than when I've seen it. And she's like, well, why don't you take some? She takes a knife, and she gets. Listen, I'm not joking when I say 3 full tablespoons of Coke on a knife, and just
Eats it.
And this, I yelped. I yelped. Because in my head, I was like, oh, that kid's dead.
100%.
That is too much cocaine for a 10-year-old.
Well, I was talking to somebody yesterday and they said that, like, cocaine metabolizes differently.
It
like,
does.
when you eat it. Like, it would just probably have, like, the stomach acid would have destroyed it and, like, it would have just made your mouth really numb and, like, you feeling like...
They probably would have puked a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know that for a fact. I was an art major and I didn't even finish that.
That's totally fair. That makes sense why it wouldn't...
Kill them.
If they ingested that, or if they snorted it, it would kill them. If they ingested it, they would have puked immediately because the taste is awful. I mean, they spit it out,
gagging.
But they would have puked 100%. Oof. But, yeah, it just... I was like, oh my god. One thing that did bother me is there was not one reference from either of those children about, I can't feel my teeth, or I can't feel my mouth. You know what I mean?
I can't feel my face when
their whole entire bottom of their face would be numb.
But they did reference the drain.
Yes, he's like, my throat's draining, and I'm like, oh, that's not good.
I'm like, sir, I know what's going on there. Not that I would ever.
So they both eat a ton of Coke, and then they find more Coke, and then all of a sudden... Cocaine Bear is there. And he is not happy.
No, he's not.
So they start running around, going crazy. We don't see this part, but we find out later that she kind of got away and Cocaine Bear chased her off and kind of took her in a different direction. Whereas Henry?
Yes.
Henry climbs up a tree. And what I assume, because of course... Like I said, bears can climb faster than they can run. What I assume is she had the cocaine on her. The bear is 100% attracted to the cocaine. She is not motivated by anything else. She can be dead set on one thing. But if somebody's got cocaine, right there. She will stop what she's doing.
Well, I also heard, I learned a lot of information talking to guests yesterday. Shout out to my job. But I was told that, like, bears can smell like blood or things like that from like 4 miles away.
Oh, yeah. Same thing as
some of like the sharpest snoots in the game.
Absolutely.
And that's blows my mind. And that's why it makes this movie, like, you think it's so ridiculous. But then you, like, learn all these little scientific breakdowns about how people are, how nature is, how animals are. And it's just like... It actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's obviously over the top and stupid, but like the premise
to a degree,
of it is like,
it checks out.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just it's absolutely fucking funny. So eventually the mom, Kerri Russell's character, finds Henry up in a tree, and she ends up finding the ranger and Ranger and friend.
Let me find out his name, because
we're the worst. Oh my god. Normally I have a lot more time to like research things and stuff, but this is a new movie. Also, some of our watchers and listeners may have gotten used to movie clips. Obviously, I want to do that as often as possible. Can't do that if the movie's still in theaters. Sorry. There's no way for me to rip it.
Peter. Because Ranger Liz had a crush on Peter, like we said earlier. Yeah. So Ranger Liz didn't want the mom to come with them. Like, they were, like, going to go look at something for, like, nature. Like, I don't know what they were doing, conservative shit. But she's like, my daughter is missing. Like, yeah. And then Ranger Liz was like, she probably just ran off into the woods and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, okay, well, I need to find her. Can you help me?
We start with, like, little individual characters, and then slowly they come
together.
Group. Yeah. So that's kind of how we're going to treat this. So mom is looking for the kids, goes to Ranger Liz and Peter, and so they go off looking for the children. So
and
now
Blood
they're
Mountain.
Together. Yes. So now they're together. And then so the three of them find Henry up in a tree, and he's like, you guys, like, there's a bear and it's not okay, and I'm not getting down and I'm scared, and he's probably really high at that point.
He was talking so fast, it was hysterical.
And so they're like, the Peter guy is like, well, bears like that aren't territorial, you must have done something to piss it off. Like, and I mean, 9 out of 10 times. Creatures. Well, 9 out of 10 times.
But he's like, this bear is fucked.
Yes.
Like, this bear is fucked up. They didn't believe him. They're like, the bear's on cocaine. And they were like, what? I mean, it is a far-fetched point, but still.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just going through so I make sure I'm keeping on the right storyline. Because again, it jumps around a lot. So when the bear is like there, we get that poster shot where Kerri Russell's on one side, the bear's on the other, and the bear starts climbing that tree to get to Henry, because the bear's all pissed off and coked out. And so it jumps over, so it's going after Henry, and then it smells the cocaine that had gotten spilled on Peter.
Because he tripped and fell in the woods into the cocaine.
Climbed up the tree next to Henry. The bear gets down.
It was like a fucking Mario Party game.
It literally fucking was.
Terrifying.
And so...
And Henry was like, he's like, why did you climb? And Henry's like, well, bears can't climb. He's like, of course they can.
Of course they can climb. Then why are you in the tree? And he just goes, oh. So, and this is like our first like really fucking brutal kill. Because this, like, Evil Dead remake amounts of blood pouring off of Peter. While this bear absolutely fucking mauls him. And then his leg falls down and the bear snorts a line off of it.
I screamed in the theater. I was like, this is the best movie.
That was my favorite part.
That was my absolute favorite part. He literally snorted cocaine off a severed fucking limb. And I looked at Casey. I said, the bear snorted cocaine. The bear snorted cocaine. I was like, this movie's incredible.
I did the same thing earlier in the previews. Because we saw the Scream 6 preview that I hadn't seen yet. And I went,
I hadn't seen that
Ghostface has a
either.
shotgun. Ghostface has a shotgun!
Spoiler, Ghostface has a shotgun.
I mean, it's in the trailer.
Yeah. I hadn't seen that trailer yet either,
I
though.
didn't want to see those trailers.
But we saw them.
It's the problem with going to the movies. So the mom and Henry run off. Does the sheriff... Yeah, Ranger Liz dies at this point, too.
Yes.
And...
Oh, wait. Not quite yet.
No, you're right, not quite. She gets attacked, but she runs off. So then Kerri Russell and Henry run off to go look for Dee Dee. And Dee Dee has left clues.
Yes, she, like, was going to paint the waterfall again. So, she, like, as we mentioned, and she was, like, leaving her paint, like, tubes and, like, spreading them out on the ground as, like, a follow the trail.
Yeah, like a little trail. She left her sweater and, like, little bits of paint and, like, the tubes itself and, like, a little trail. And I literally went, oh, smart girl. And then not a half a second later, Kerri Russell goes, smart girl. And I was like...
It was hilarious. I was like...
Yeah. I'm with you, girl. So they are looking. They eventually end up finding her in a cave. So the little girl is alive somehow. They do find her in a cave. And I think that's pretty much when... Because they're in the cave
collide.
and the waterfall comes too.
Yes.
So eventually they do find her, and then that's kind of when everything is converging. So we're going to go back a little.
So our next storyline would be with Eddie and...
We'll start with the teens, because then they converge.
Yes.
So, as we were talking about earlier, actually, if you want to talk about the teens a little, since they are the Beauchamps. Duchamps.
So they are the pop art punks. And they apparently have been randomly stabbing people in the forest.
And stealing stuff. And
stealing stuff and just being fucking nuisances.
Stabbing people in the forest seems like a lot. Like, they're a little, like, I don't know.
So, we find out that Eddie is the son of Ray Liotta's character, Sid.
We find that out later, but yeah.
But...
yeah.
That's a whole other thing. So Eddie was essentially...
It doesn't really go anywhere.
It doesn't. But David and Eddie link together to find this cocaine for Sid.
And they know that some of it has been found in the forest, so they're going up there to look.
Yes. So that's how their character arc comes in.
Yes. The teenagers are there. Oh, yeah, okay. So you're right. Okay.
Yeah. So there was, like, the park ranger incident where, like, one of them was, like, trying to steal, and then they left, and she made him leave, and then they all
left, obviously. So, of course, David and,
Eddie,
god damn it, Eddie.
You're fine. He was a crybaby.
Yes, I kind of like him, though. He thought he was very fucking funny.
He was very funny.
So, they stop, and David's like, hey, I gotta take a piss, and so he goes in the bathroom, pees, and when he's washing his hands, the fucking little gang boys walk in.
With their knife.
They're one tiny switchblade. And this man who, like, you don't know that he's, like, a badass. But, like, also, he's a very large man. And you are very skinny teenagers.
Oh, they're tall, skinny punks. Like, except for Ponytail.
But even then, you're still, like, you're short. You're a baby.
David beat the actual shit out of them. Like, to the point where when Eddie came in, he's like, what happened? And he's like, so they came at me.
They threaten him with a knife. They tell him to empty his pockets. He says no. They come at him with the knife. He ends up, like we said, whooping all three of their asses.
To a point where, like, we thought they were dead.
Yes. And, like, at the end of the fight, he, like, looks back into the mirror and
he'd been stabbed.
And all I could think in that moment was in 21 Jump Street.
Oh my god.
When Jonah Hill gets in that fight and he goes, when did I get stabbed?
Oh shit. When did I get stabbed? That's awesome!
I fucking thought the same thing.
Because he was like, oh shit. So he has got to pull that out. So yeah,
it's awesome.
Eddie. It's awesome. So Eddie eventually comes in. He's like, what the fuck did you do to them? And so, but then they find cocaine, a brick of cocaine on one of the kids. And they slap him awake. And they're like, all right, kid, where the fuck did you find the coke? He's like, yeah, about that. So then they're like, okay, well, you're going to show us where the coke is, obviously. So now so they leave the other two in the bathroom.
One of them might be dead, David said.
Unconscious. Because, yeah, and he comes in, he's like, did you kill him? Did you kill them? And
he's like, the one that stabbed me might be dead.
He might be dead, I don't know. But Eddie does check their pulses. He says, they're fine, but Jesus Christ.
So one that stabbed me might be dead. I was like, that's so fair.
So they take one of them, and they're like, okay, you're going to show us where the cocaine is. So they're going on their little journey now. They're out in the woods. Their little, like, segments are just fucking hilarious. Like, the teen and Eddie end up crying together and hugging, and it's just so
becoming
over
friends.
The top.
It's
really
just
is.
So ridiculous.
I really liked Eddie, the actor that played Eddie. I really liked his performance.
No, it was hysterical.
Yes, absolutely.
He was just a sad guy.
Yes, he was. So we'll also introduce our cop plot. That is our Isaiah Washington or whatever. He
plays Bob, and then we have Officer Reba.
Right. So he is playing. So he is chasing after these guys. And he knows that they are going to the forest to find the rest of the cocaine. And so he kind of follows them there, and he's going to meet them there and bust them. So he ends up in the forest. He walks to this gazebo that ends up being where the teenagers hid the rest of the coke that they found. And that is where Eddie and David and the teenager meet up with him. He's on the roof of the gazebo, and he, like, tries to bust them. He's got a gun, and
he can't get down.
No, he cannot get down. So he shoots what's-his-name in the hand, David in the hand, and
lost
then David
two
gets
fingies.
His gun. He does lose two fingies. And then...
Can I pick up his fingers?
Oh my god, it was so funny, because it was these two fingers.
And he's like, how did that happen? They weren't even next to each other. This movie is so fucking funny.
The teenager ends up having a lot of funny fucking lines.
Mm-hmm.
So the bear ends up showing up, and
completely passes out on top of
Eddie.
And it's so fucking funny. That's when we find out she's a girl. And they're like,
He's
how
like,
do you know? And her vagina's on my neck. Oh my god.
I thought he said on his ear, but either
maybe
way,
it was
it's so
ear.
gross.
Yes. Ugh.
Well, you know, not gross because it's nature, but it's just like, what the fuck?
Well, but I don't want it on my ear.
That is true.
And then we get one of my other favorite shots of the movie because they find out that the bear is going after the cocaine. The bear wants the coke. And so the cop takes a brick of it from on top of the roof and starts raining it down. And we get this slow-mo shot of the bear just
Loving, like
catching
licking.
coke snowflakes. This movie's so dumb.
It's so fucking stupid, but I loved it. Like, you have to watch this. It is so funny.
It is too fucking funny.
Oh my gosh.
We have seen little shots of Ray Liotta's character throughout. And this is when we actually get really introduced to him because the cop suddenly gets shot on the roof.
And it wasn't David, who
Yes.
we originally thought.
But then, like a second later, we figure it out. It's Ray Liotta. He's got those awesome fucking yellow sunglasses that he really doesn't even take off the whole time. Yeah, and he did so good. Obviously, we lost him in May of last year. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Seriously, man. He's great.
This was a great final movie.
Oh my god,
For him.
yes. So, Eddie... Oh, and then I guess Officer Reba, she could have been a character that didn't even exist. She was like the,
Crooked cop.
yeah, but she was what's-his-name's partner, and then...
Sid,
Yeah, she really didn't need to exist. Completely useless character.
There was a cute dog that we forgot to mention. Cute little... What was the dog's name?
Rosette.
Rosette.
I love that dog.
She was a little white, like, froofy dog with, like, a little bow.
And the cop guy had just gotten her, and had, his...
Reba watch her.
And we get closure at the end of that because she gives the dog to Eddie.
It's really
And it's
sweet.
really cute.
It's really
And
sweet.
then David's like, is that dog on cocaine? No. Alright, we're cool. We're cool. So fucking funny.
So I think that's kind of where we go back to our other storyline. Because then they go meet up with the rest of the gang, basically.
Yes, so they are now trying to figure out where, quote, the rest of the coke is, but they're looking for this one bag that the bear has, and not the many, many bags in trees that they're passing, because it's a bunch of duffel bags.
Yeah.
Why? And that's one of the funny things, is they're just passing all these bags, but they're going after the bag the bear has. Again, very exploitation. I just think it's so fucking funny. We did miss one thing.
Oh, yeah.
So the closure of the other two teens' story.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was just about to go back to.
Yes. So our other two teens eventually gain consciousness and find their way back into the ranger station.
Mm-hmm.
Ranger finds her way back as well. She's freaking out because she's, like, all fucked up because she got attacked.
Her, like, calf or her, like
half her
thigh
butt
is, like,
cheek.
ripped.
Yeah. Oh, it looks... We get
It's
a real
gnarly.
close-up on
Yeah.
it. It looks gruesome.
Mhm.
So she's there. She's trying to call for help. They had already called for an ambulance because one of the guys obviously has a concussion. He almost died.
Mhm.
And so the bear ends up showing up, breaks in, and doesn't murder all three of them. Only ends up getting to two of them because what happens to the first teenager?
He opens the door. This is before the bear even breaks in.
Yeah.
He opens the door, and the bear is there, and it's, like, sitting there fucked up on the porch. And she fucking shoots at the bear, and just the camera pans to being in front of the two of them, like her behind the teenager, and he's, like, looking out at the bear, and he's just, his head is blown off.
A hole in his face.
She accidentally fucking shot him, and I was absolutely gagged.
I laughed my ass off.
I did too. It was one of my favorite moments.
I mean, there's just...
That was Ponytail. We lost Ponytail.
There's suddenly a hole in this dude's face.
And the other dude, his friend, like, had the blood all over him.
He's like, what the fuck?
You just shot my friend.
Oh, my fucking god. Yeah.
Oh my god. So fucked up.
Then the bear's on the roof. Then the bear gets in, kills all 3 of them. Or kills the other 2 that are still alive. And then the ambulance shows up that they had called. And this, I actually wrote down, one of the things that I liked about this was one of the things that other people complained. I really like how they got so many characters into it. It's not just one couple after another showing up as a hiker and getting murdered. Oh, let's go hiking, get murdered. Oh, let's go look for our friends, get murdered.
Everyone is there very purposefully.
It is one set of kids got lost in the forest, so the mom looks for it. The ranger is obviously going to be there with them, helping the mother. The drug people are looking for their drugs. The detective is looking for them. The teens are already there anyway, and then call the ambulance.
And the paramedics are there.
It all, like, really, I think it's really cohesive. I think the story just works really well.
And it keeps it interesting because it, like,
yeah,
it breaks it up and it isn't just a bear doing cocaine.
Exactly.
Which I would have loved it either way.
And it's not just a bear hunting down one group and picking them off one by one.
This bear doesn't care. He just wants to fucking do some cocaine.
Yeah, that's her sole purpose. So there, anyway, the paramedic scene is so fucking funny. That's when we get the IKEA guy. He is really fucking good. I think the girl is really good. Because the ranger's not dead yet. They try to get her into the back.
They put her on a stretcher.
Yep.
And he is like, she's trying to say, like, bear, so they don't open this door in the ranger station. But she was, like, you know, bleeding out, so she couldn't really get it out in time. And the guy opens the door. The fucking bear's there. So he, like, knocks the door on top of this guy.
So the guy's underneath the door. The bear's on top of the door. So the ladies get in the ambulance, but they don't shut the back doors. And she starts driving off.
And the bear's, like, crunching down on top of him. Like, it's...
Yeah.
That bear probably weighs, like, what? 500 pounds? 600, 700, 800?
Anyway, it's big old bear.
Crunching down on him.
He somehow gets away from the bear. I think he throws cocaine or something. That's a good way to get away from her. That is the best way to get away from her. And then he eventually gets on the ambulance, but the bear is fucking chasing them down. I mean, it is fucking...
It put his whole bear pussy, into it.
He did. The whole bussy.
And
I showed you my bussy. Please respond.
This fucking scene, Casey.
Oh my god, he's like... Oh god, it's
he jumps funny. And it's slow motion. And
it's like Jurassic Park, but with cocaine bear.
Instead of a raptor.
Yeah, and so he's getting closer and closer, and he jumps, and just, I mean, right in there.
And fucking Ranger Liz, her stretcher, oh my god. This is the, like, to me it was like one of the most fucked up parts of the movie.
It was.
Her stretcher flew out of the ambulance, flipped upside down while she was attached to it, and her face skidded across the road.
Oh.
And I had to look away.
It was so funny.
It was hilarious, but, like, in that moment, I was like, God damn. It was fucked up.
It was. So then, of course, the bear mauls the guy, paramedic, and then the girl, because she's obviously distracted and freaked out, runs into a tree.
And you see slow motion her flying out of the ambulance and dying right in front of the camera.
Very Zombieland.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was... it's, again, so over the top and fucking stupid, and I am here for it.
100%.
It's everything I wanted. It's everything the trailer tells you it's gonna be. I don't know why anyone expected anything different.
Right.
Why are people dumb?
Just have fun. This movie is not serious. Okay, so those characters are all dead. So I think this is now when we circle back around to the cave.
Yes, so we are finally getting to... so essentially we have two big-ish groups. We've got the mom and the two... So we've got the mom and the two kids there together. And then we've got David, Eddie, Sid, who is Ray Liotta's character,
Officer Reba,
she leaves at some point.
She does pretty early on, but
yeah. Which is why her character can just be cut out because she doesn't do anything. She's not the one who shoots the cop. She doesn't get any of the cocaine. She leaves before the showdown. She doesn't die. Does she die?
No, because remember at the end she gives the dog to Eddie.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I guess that's why she's there for the dog thing.
Which
I do like the dog.
I do like the
part.
dog. Okay, we'll move on.
Yeah, I take that back because I do like the dog thing.
It's very cute.
I just wish it could have been like Ray Liotta who had the dog. No, because Ray Liotta dies. I don't know. Maybe, it could have been the couple's dog. And Eddie just finds it, because the couple dies. And he just, look, I found a dog.
Well, we do see that guy from the very beginning again. He actually, helps the mother find the cave. Stuff like that. And then he gets killed.
Yeah. He was really sad though. When he finally does come back around and the mom finds him, he's just sitting cross-legged on the forest floor just crying.
Yeah.
He's like, she was so beautiful. I loved her.
Well, my friends yesterday told me that guy, like I said, who was a character on Game of Thrones and apparently several other things, has a very wholesome Instagram where he just posts about how beautiful his wife is all the time. And so I thought, knowing that and seeing this character, I thought it was so fucking sweet.
That, I guarantee that's why they wrote him in.
Yeah, isn't that so cute?
Yeah.
Knowing that,
I bet it was probably initially just a generic couple and one of them dies. But when they cast him, I bet it was nah, we gotta make
he's
it.
wholesome.
Because the first thing that he says in the entire movie, the first line of the movie is something like, the first time I saw you, you were so beautiful. I knew, first thought I had was, I want to have babies with her.
Yeah.
This man is so in love with his woman.
Yeah.
And then he watches her get ripped off.
Yeah.
Anyway. So
we're in the cave.
So then we go to the cave. The mom and the kids are trying to find a way out. And
because they found what, Casey?
Cocaine baby bears.
Baby bears on cocaine.
The two cutest little cubs you have ever seen. Cocaine cubs.
Cocaine cubs.
And
they looked like, one of the kids was like, they look like polar bears because they were covered
in cocaine. It was so fucking funny. And so they're like, oh shit, that babies are here. That means mom's around. She's going to be pissed. So they're trying to find a way out, and they end up where the waterfall, this secret waterfall that they were looking for. And it's this really awesome, final shot, final sequence set. Because they're on, the edge of this cliff. There's, 2 entrances, and there's, a little rock edge where they're standing out, and then the fall is kind of, right in front of them. So they can kind of jump into it, which they do. Spoiler alert. So they're there. They're trying to figure their way out. They hear yelling and talking and all this because the drug gang has now tracked down the drugs.
Yes.
Yeah, because they were tracking down the duffel bag, which now is with cocaine cubs. What happened to the teenager guy? Did he just run off?
I'm pretty sure he just ran off.
Yeah, I think so. Did we see his ending? I can't remember.
I don't really remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. So I guess he just kind of ended up leaving. I wrote cocaine cave equals co-cave.
I think I wrote that too.
I think I said it and you were like, write that down.
Cocaine cave equals co-cave. I said cocoa cave.
I just wrote co-cave.
Well, I knew what I meant.
Yes.
There's another thing I was like, write that down.
Yes. So,
I love it.
Again, this fucking ending is so dramatic. So they end up all in the same place. The mom's like, I need to take these kids home. We're not going to say anything. And Ray Liotta wants to kill them. He's kicking at the little baby bears because he's got the bag of cocaine and they want it. So he's kicking at the baby bears, telling them he wants to kill the mom and the kids. And Eddie's like, dude, no, we're not doing that. And then so Mama Bear comes in, and somehow Ray Liotta
gets Mama Bear, Cocaine Bear, like, over the ledge, and she, like, lands down on this, like, slightly lower ledge.
And the
like,
babies are crying.
And it's so sad.
It was sad.
Like, it's actually really fucking depressing because they're making their little kind of noises, and they're, like, all, like, oh my god.
I felt the range of emotions during this movie.
It's so crazy because
I was so sad. The theater was like, oh.
Obviously, the whole time you're not really rooting for Cocaine Bear, but then
You see cocaine babies.
when the little cocaine cubs are all sad, it's really sad. But then somebody like busts some like one of the bricks of cocaine or something, and the dust like comes down, and
it like revives her.
and it like inhales a little, and she's like, sorry, I can't. It's too funny.
She comes back to life.
Yes, and she absolutely eviscerates Ray Liotta. She tears him in half, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my god, his like guts are falling out, and the baby bears start playing and like eating it. It's fucked up. But the mom and kids jump. What happened to David and Eddie?
They both jump too.
They jump too.
And David had gotten shot
In his neck.
in the neck, but it grazed the side of his neck.
Like,
But it's
David
still
had
in
it
the
rough,
neck.
man. He
Yeah.
was having a hard time.
Already got stabbed.
And he got shot earlier on his
Oh my God,
fingers.
you're right.
His fingies.
His two fingies. So fucking hilarious, man. So they all jump down. David is like dying in Eddie's arms, and we get the callback to that joke, and he's like, only 6 more days with John. Because he got through one day. Anyway, and they're like kind of saying their goodbyes, and then all of a sudden, Kerri Russell. Because she's a nurse. So then he lives.
She's a nurse!
What the fuck? Why did he live?
Everything just loops. It's one big loop.
We forgot. When the bear wakes up, she spits out the bullet she was shot with.
Oh, fuck. I forgot that. It was fucking hysterical. I'm a stan of Cocaine Bear.
She is a mother trying her best.
She's a single mother.
I love
Single
her.
mom who works too hard. Loves her kids and never stops. Gentle hand. And the heart of a fighter. She's a survivor. Anyways, that was Cocaine Bear.
Whew, okay, I'm crying just a little bit.
Oh, God.
So,
Oof.
we get a cute little ending where we see the bears playing in some cocaine and the mama's sitting there, and they're all happy. And then it was obviously the movie was dedicated in loving memory to Ray Liotta.
And we got a couple cutscenes.
Yes. What were the cutscenes?
Fuck, I was hoping you...
I don't, because I didn't write them down.
I didn't either. We couldn't see in the theater.
Oh my god, it was so dark.
It was so
in the theater.
dark.
It's crazy. Like, they just... Can you not turn the lights all the way down?
I was like literally pointing my notebook at the screen.
I pretty
and
much
couldn't.
ran upside down.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad. So that's why our movie reviews of in-theater movies are typically a little more disjointed.
We do our best.
Because I can pause and rewind other things.
100%.
But totally worth it. I am so happy we saw this opening weekend.
Oh my god, me too.
Like, it's just one of those movies you really have fun at. Like, it is a fun time start to finish. There are no downtimes. There's no boring parts. It's what you want it to be. If you saw the trailer and you thought, okay, that looks like a lot of dumb fun.
It is.
It is.
And you literally, it's one of those movies that if you think too hard about it, you're going to hate it.
Yeah.
But why would you? Just go in and don't take it seriously.
Like, oh, that could never happen. Oh, that's not it. Blah, 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 blah.
But like I said, everything is actually pretty,
right.
minus the major flaws of
Obviously.
logic. Everything else pretty much checks out.
But, like, imagine if a bear did a bunch of cocaine and it didn't die immediately.
It'd be fucking scary.
It would be very scary. And, again, one of those last lines of, is the dog on cocaine? Like...
And then the dog ate his fingers. Was that one of the deleted scenes?
Oh, that was one of the stingers. He's, like, looking for his fingers, and the dog's eating him, and he's like, they weren't going to put him back on anyway. They weren't. I mean, those fingers were dead.
But for a moment, I was like, oh, God, is the dog on cocaine? And I was like, no cocaine dog.
It's fine. Yeah, it was... The other stinger scene might have been...
Something with the kids.
Yeah, I don't remember. Go see it. It's fun.
It's amazing.
But yeah, so as far as next week, I think we are doing hatching, which is a very good follow-up to this one, because as we left the theater chanting, when Katie and I saw hatching in theaters, we also left the theater chanting, bird girl, bird girl, bird girl, because bird girl is the best.
I don't know anything about this bird girl, so.
Hilarious. Again, over the top. I think it's in Finnish. Something. Anyway, it's in a different language. It's so good. I'm 99% sure it is free to watch on Hulu right now. And I know a lot of you have Hulu. So, like, go watch it. It's so good. It's only, I want to say, like an hour and a half. It's a good time. So I think that's next. We are going to cover the new Scream here coming up, which we're very excited about.
I'm so excited.
I've heard some people, because I heard the script leaked, and I've heard, like, Dead Meat James got the killer revealed to him. He got it leaked, spoiled, because somebody left a comment on one of his videos.
I hate that shit. Don't fucking spoil shit for people.
I would be so fucking mad if somebody spoiled Ghostface for me. That's the whole thing. Like, that's the, like... Yeah, anyway. So don't spoil it.
Don't do that. Don't be a dick.
If you go see it opening weekend, don't spoil it that night. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Don't go on Twitter and be like, oh my God, I can't believe... Like, because some people can't go see it that night. Some people are going to have to wait a couple weeks. Just don't...
Don't be a dick.
Just don't be a dick. Or if you want to tweet about it, literally put spoiler at the top, like, so people are like, no.
Yeah, 100%.
Stupid. But anyway, that's just our opinion.
Well, where should they find us, Casey?
They should find us on Twitter and Instagram at Deepers Creepers. You can email deeperscreeperspod@gmail.com if you have any requests or questions, or just want to tell us how great we are. And of course, as always, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you listen to us on any of the podcasting things, rate us. We definitely need some more ratings. That would definitely really help us a lot.
Yeah.
So if you can do anything for us, like this video, and rate us on wherever you listen. But until next week,
stay spooky. Bye.